tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello and welcome, Librarians fans. Those who read, this is the Librarians After Show here on AfterBuzz. If you have not already, go to youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. Hit subscribe. Austin Powers is speaking to us. If you haven't already, also go to iTunes.com. Hit subscribe. iTunes.com. I don't think that's it. But we're on iTunes. Hit subscribe. We're also on SoundCloud. Subscribe everywhere. That way you don't miss a single episode. Austin, stop talking. Welcome. I'm your host, Yael Tygiel. You can tweet at us live during the show using the hashtag #ABTVTheLibrarians. Also, live in the chat roll, my co-host, Sam Davidson.
Hey guys, I am back and so excited to be back for this season. You can follow me on Twitter at SamD43.
And Tauri's here.
Hey, I'm here as always, Tauri J. Miller. You can find me on Twitter at TauriJ, Taurijay.
Did you just wink at me?
I did. It was real sensual.
I liked it. And you can tweet at me at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. Let's jump in with this episode, The Librarians and What Lies Beneath the Stones, which is such a lies and lies.
Yeah.
Beneath and the stones.
Wordplay.
So literary.
Well, me and Yael, when she was writing the title, she was like, this is the longest title ever. I was like, do you not remember last season?
I don't.
I do. Those titles were insane. They were insane last season.
Yeah.
I'm going to relook them up and I'll make a document and tweet it.
They were a whole synopsis of the episode. They're like the Librarians, and the one where they all go to New York and then they hang out for a while.
And the dragon shows up, and we only see the eye of the dragon, and Yael's disappointed. Is that not what happened?
Yeah, pretty much.
The dragon.
Nice. What did you guys think of this episode, generally speaking?
I enjoyed it. I, liked that we were getting more backstory, which we didn't get a lot of last season, and we requested. So, looks like they're listening.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. I really liked it. Most specifically, I really liked the monster of this week. It was fun in that, it was this really creepy creature, but also, it really messed with the characters. I like it.
You know what's weird is that I love Shapeshifters. That's one of my favorite. When it comes to X-Men, I love Mystique. I love Shapeshifters in general.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of a monster making them reveal their truth. But something about this monster I didn't like, and it's not the creepy smiles. Those were terrifying.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wish you could do it right now, don't you?
I really do. Just like a.
It was so creepy.
Well, I loved it because then you could see which character was the audience could get a little a little creep into which one was actually just a shapeshifter.
Mm-hmm.
But the face.
Yeah.
I felt like it's too big. It was way too big for Lindy's face. So it was off the face for her. Because her face is so small and delicate.
At some point it just turned into a smiley, a literal smiley.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't figure out where I'm who has that smile? Where is it coming from? And then an awesome fan, Christy XOXO15, was the Cheshire Cat. And I was like, yes.
Yes.
Yes. That is exactly where it is. And they also, some of the fans are doing parallels to Alice in Wonderland. So
yeah,
it's an interesting, didn't really have anything to do with the episode, but had little underlying themes towards it.
Yeah, I definitely thought when we first fell down the rabbit hole, thank you to Alexis in the booth, who is also a Librarians fan now.
Huge.
We did that, guys.
Librarian fan. Oh my god.
Yeah. So she was pointing out that it's down the rabbit hole, and I also, when we had the sinkhole, that was my first thought was, ooh, we're getting an Alice in Wonderland thing. And then when I saw the creepy smile, I was like, oh, cool. It's the Cheshire Cat. I had the same thought that I had last week when we had an Alice in Wonderland villain. I was like, it's the rabbit. I don't know why I think the rabbit is the villain of Alice in Wonderland.
He's mostly a jerk. I mean,
He's such a jerk.
Yeah.
You're late.
Yeah.
He's not a nice dude, but you know.
But he's not the villain.
He's not evil.
For whatever reason, we fell down the rabbit hole, and I was like, it's the rabbit.
It's his fault.
He could be Kaiser Sozeing everyone. Like, it was all orchestrated. He led her down there and was like, at the very end, after the queen has been vanquished, he just rears his ears back and he's like, another job well done.
For those listening on iTunes, that was
That's it was a cigarette.
Yeah. I really am afraid now that the whole season is building up, and at the end there's going to be some sort of White Rabbit reference, and I'm like, I can't believe I was right. That's so weird. Because I'm pulling it out of my hat.
Yes.
Out of your hat.
My
Yeah.
hat. All right. Thanks, Lexus. Let's talk about the hackle.
Yes.
What's it called?
It's the Hoklanote. Hoklanote.
Or as Ezekiel puts it, the Hokla bloke.
Yeah.
I like that a lot better. It's a Hokla bloke.
Hokla bloke.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just like, oh, what, the shapeshifter? No,
Yeah.
I can't say that word.
Hokla bloke.
Huckla bloke?
Hokla
Hokla
bloke.
bloke.
Hobla bloke.
Sounds like hocus
Hoklanote.
pocus.
The
Hoklanote.
The Hobla bloke.
I want to say it like a old style, like Latin king. Hoklanote.
Like it's a flirt. Like you're hitting on me.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Hoklanote.
So
Yes, I like this game.
may I? Okay. I'm not scared it's gonna happen again.
Hoklanote.
All right, guys. So I was taking notes as Jenkins was going over all the different types of shapeshifters, and I caught a few that I want to bring to your attention.
Yes.
We have the skin crawlers, which is a Native American legend. We have the face dancers, which is from Frank Herbert's science fiction Dune universe,
Yes.
which is really popular with nerds. I
It's
say that
great.
as a positive.
Yeah.
Are
Because
you
we have-
familiar with all of these, Tauri? Like, just...
Are you familiar with the Dune universe?
I'm familiar with the Dune universe because as a nerd, I have nerd friends, and they literally made me read it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I should read that. I feel like
You
that's
should if you
next
have
thing I should read.
a million years to spare.
Yeah. We also got throat jumpers, nose stealers, and eye gossamers. I could not find what those specifically were referenced to, but I did look them up. But we found that our Hoklabluk was a trickster god, and the end game is just to be entertained by chaos, right? So he feeds on lies, which is why he's there, because we found out all about Stone's dad and all the lies.
Mm-hmm.
I like the sounds you guys made.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, let's talk about Isaac. Isaac Stone.
Yes.
What a dick.
Oh my gosh. From the very beginning.
Yeah.
Like, oh, dude, man, I don't like him. It makes me wonder how our stone came from that stone.
Well, I mean, we have at the end of Jenkins points out that you are not where you came from. You are what makes you.
Right.
It's a nature nurture thing.
Yes.
And while Isaac was an asshole, I mean, it's not like I was kind of expecting Stone to have come from something really messed up in a way because he's so closed off. I'm not saying like his childhood wasn't messed up,
Right.
but like it wasn't exactly as I was picturing, which is good because that's a whole other layer of messed up like we don't need to deal with.
What were you picturing?
I don't know. I was picturing something like really awful, like him being abused, like physically. And I mean, who knows? Like maybe that happened.
That's true. I mean, his dad was an alcoholic.
Yeah. I mean, also, I feel like because he's such a big macho can kick your butt dude, that probably stems from like having to defend himself.
Right.
That's true.
Just a thought.
Yeah, we just got a taste of what his life was like,
Yeah.
but I'm really glad that we did, and I hope we get to do that for every character.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like that's what we're probably going to get to do this season is get a little backstory, especially with all the secrets that were revealed, which we will go over in a bit because there were a lot of good ones. But I want to finish the Hokla storyline, the blah blah blah,
Yes.
the blah blah blah. What's it called?
Hoklanote.
Hoklanote.
Sorry, slight misfire. This never happens.
Okay, that's awkward. So I like how we wrapped up how we found out how to capture the Hoklabla. Sorry, I like that I just can't say it. We figured out that we have to. They're difficult to kill, but they're easy to trap, and so we get them into this cage, which is powered by truths and lies. Mm-hmm. And Stone reveals to his father, air quotes on that, the truth. And he comes clean about everything. And his dad responds that he loves him. And you and I were watching this together the first time I watched it. And we were both like, that can't be right.
No, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, because it was such a hallmark moment that you never get from this show. We have, like, really touching moments, but not like that like... Sappy, yeah. And plus, his dad was established to be such a bag of poop.
Yep.
That, like, you would never expect him to say... Like, I have to expect it, if it was his real dad, to just punch him in the face.
I totally thought he was like, you saying you're better than me?
Yeah, right?
Like, you think you're better than me?
See, I was a very naive watcher and felt so stupid, like, after, you know...
You believed it?
For a second. And then I was like, oh, damn it. I was wrong. Like, I did believe it. Just for, it was like 30 seconds. I was like, oh, cool. Dope. Like, you know, his dad's, like, turning around. I was like, Sam, you're an idiot.
His alcoholic dad who lies about permits.
Yeah.
Who may or may not have punched somebody. No. Who... His dad's a dick.
Yeah, he's a dick, but, you know, dicks come around, too. Sorry. I don't even know what the joke was in that, but it was weird.
Yeah, I don't think that was supposed to be what it was.
But no, like, you know, some people come around, and I did think that, like, perhaps he would. But
no, I would have been really disappointed in the writing had he come around like that.
And we know that they're better than that.
Yeah.
So...
I'll say that when the show opened and we had the, you know, the oil riggers versus the locals, that scene felt very Leverage. Like, I was reminded of why I loved Leverage so much, because we have the jerks who are in power and the underdogs, and I was like, they're gonna come in and save it for the underdogs. That's how this show works. And it was just so I miss that show so much. I miss it, as you guys know.
Yes. You tell us every day.
I do. Is there anything else we want to talk about the blah blah?
See, I can't even remember how to say it again, too. Like, I've said it so many times
blah,
with you.
blah.
Oh, it is the Hoklanote.
Blah blah blah. Okay. I want to take a minute. Yeah.
Fail.
I don't read. I can't say this word. This show is not doing well for me. I want to take a moment to thank our fans for tuning in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to everyone in the chat roll. We have Sam monitoring that, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Sam's monitoring the chat roll. I have an iTunes review to read out because I don't know if we got to it at the end of last season, so we're going to read it today. Guys, if you don't know this, we are on iTunes. You can subscribe and catch every episode via audio podcast and not see our beautiful faces, but that's your call. And if you go on there and write us a review, we will read it live on the air right here. And if we will be getting more guests this season, hint, hint, we will read it with them here, and they'll probably say something nice because they're polite.
Yeah.
So they might even say your name. What if Lindy Booth said my name? I would die.
Oh, yeah.
Well, calm down.
I'm sorry. She's my Meisner.
I believe it, and I love it. Lucky you. So if you go into iTunes and you leave us a rating and a review, we'll read on the air. That's 5 stars if you like us, 4 stars if you don't. The other stars do not work. We have this one from January. So I believe this was at the end of last season, and I don't know if we read it on the air, so we're reading it now. Another favorite, 5 stars from the Zombie Gardener. The season has ended, but I really hope the Librarians will be back for season 2. It is. I have enjoyed Sam and Yael on the podcast. Yael's one of my favorites at AFTERBUZZ. Thanks. And the interviews you've done so far are awesome. Hope to see you next season. Got that TNT? They did. They heard you. We got a second season, and we got people on the show. Because of you guys. Because you write comments like that. They heard you. That's like a thing that happened. So please write us reviews on iTunes. It's not just because they make me happy, but they make the world happy.
Yes. Cause and effect relationship.
Heck yeah. Let's talk about the secrets that were revealed.
Yes.
Because we learned a lot. Like, Cassandra is afraid of ravioli. She also does this weird thing where she measures things with her brain when she's watching things.
Yes.
I wrote it down. So to measure the mine, she was like, for example, Nathan Fillion is 6'2", and it takes him 43 steps to cross the Serenity. Therefore, it is 204 feet across. This tells me two things. One, the writers of the show are nerds, and clearly fans of Firefly.
Right.
Yes.
Which we knew. And two, they're crazy nerds, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Because somebody legitimately did that. That's like a legitimate thing someone did. Nerds. I love it so much. I feel like this episode was like, someone was like, we're doing Shapeshifters. Could we put in this from Dune? And someone else was like, you know what? We should have like a wall that like has to retract. Could we put in this about the Firefly team? Could we just slip the stuff in there? That's how I imagine it works in the writers' room.
Yeah, they'll be like, no one will notice, but if they do, they'll get it and they'll love it.
I like to imagine it's just one guy. Like, he sits in the corner, and every so often, he'll, like, raise his hat and be like, Dune reference. Just go back to sleep.
And then he'll point out that Nathan Fillion's 6'2", and it takes him 43 steps to cross Serenity.
Mm-hmm. I like to imagine that that's actually parchment that he pulls out from his shirt, and he just, like, throws it on the table.
Facts.
Yeah.
I've done the math.
Good old Randy. Anyways.
I want to... what is that, Alexis? You want to say something?
I do that. Sometimes when I'm watching movies, I try to see how short the actor is by looking at the surroundings and how they're framed.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Alexis.
I'm sorry.
No, that's awesome.
Amazing.
Okay.
I'm
Like,
never-
you can always
I'm
tell when Tom
crying. I love
Cruise
you
is
so
on
much.
2 apple boxes because of how it's shot.
Wow. You should like put
Two
that on your
apple
dating
boxes.
profile because you'll get some like real winners, I think, that are just like you though.
Just put it on the job apps, guys.
I want you to start that Tumblr.
I might. Who
I'd
knows?
follow it.
Okay.
I mean, you could also start a business essentially figuring out how tall people are from their Tumblr pictures. Or Tinder pictures.
Oh, I never thought about that. Oh, boy.
You saw that face on it? Let's talk about other secrets that we learned.
Yes. Cassandra hates children.
Hates children. I have never related to her more. She decided that she is going to decide when she's going to die.
Yes.
And has picked a date, and that day is not today. What were your thoughts on this giant revelation?
It makes me really sad because I feel like there's a bit of a ticking time clock on her character, and it's something towards the end of last season. It's like I kind of forgot about it because I didn't want to think about her being sick or like dying ever, but I feel like it just makes her character even stronger.
I think it makes it really interesting. Like, I guess my first thought, because this is a magic-based show, and I also watch a lot of anime, is that, like, I thought that maybe she had
You watch anime?
I really do. And I thought that, like, she had made some kind of, like, pact or some kind of spell that was like, this is the day that I die, and it's unchangeable. But then I became a regular person and remembered that that's not a thing that people do. And it was like, oh, no, it's much darker than that.
Yeah.
Which I really liked. Because it's a real thing that she has to deal with.
Yeah.
You know, and it just adds more layers to her character.
I feel like it's setting us up for a moment where we're going to reach a point where something is so wonderful that she's going to announce that she, like, had a day that she had in mind, but she's pushing it back because of something so wonderful.
Right.
That is the most optimistic thing I've ever said on an after show.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't. Moving on. I just got real optimistic and I don't like it. I feel weird.
You're turning into me. What is going on?
I also thought that maybe, I mean, I felt like it could have also been just like a thing that she did that day, and then at some point once she got her friends and stuff just dropped it. Mm-hmm. I mean, because it was like, that was the day that she was diagnosed, but she's come so far since then.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know if it's still in play.
So you took it as the day she was diagnosed, she chose when she was going to die.
Right. Like it was a thing that she was definitely going to do. But now it's not necessarily a part of her life anymore.
I disagree. I feel like it was, unless I missed it, I feel like it was something that as she came to terms with what was happening, she decided, okay, like I have this whole life to live, and when I can no longer be a librarian or something, that's when I'll do it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it was something that she had decided after a while.
Okay.
Because it sounded like she had it was I know I'm dying, and therefore I've been diagnosed and I'm suffering with this and dealing with it, as opposed to when she found the librarians in this whole world, she's now decided, now I can decide when I get to die. Does that make sense?
I see that. But I still kind of...
We're on odds.
We are. It's rare.
Yes.
But we're real civil about it. I mean...
For now.
Yeah. I think that it was not necessarily a knee-jerk reaction, but like it was something that, I mean, yes, she could plan the day that she dies, but like that also goes out the window in that like being a librarian means that your life is forfeit, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, and essentially anyone else could die before her of being killed, not of natural causes, you know, like she could live longer than any of them if they all like blow up and then she somehow lives. Like, you know, it's just like any other day. You could cross the street and get hit by a car.
This conversation getting real dark.
It is.
Well, but I'm just saying I love her character because she's always been the underdog, and they're still being like, oh, she's weak, like, and kind of talking about that it's dark, but I still think that she's always going to end up the strongest, solving the problems.
Yeah.
But her strong side and like kind of like weakness towards darkness in a way, I think will end up what is going to make her stay alive longer, but also what might be her like librarian demise.
Yeah.
Girl's not going anywhere.
I mean, we do see how strong she is when Isaac is like, oh, are you the secretary? And she's like, sir, please. She was wonderful. I loved it.
Yeah.
We also learn about Stone's 7 different names, that he has doctorates from all over the world, or degrees from all over the world. He is... I mean, we knew he was a genius, but we learned a lot about him. Are there any other secrets that you guys remembered or loved that you wrote down? I just loved that. I feel like Ezekiel is the us, right? He's, or at least I relate to him the most this episode when he said movies are just books with better pictures and less of those words and stuff.
Right.
I went, oh no. And he doesn't know the Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah.
Which got a whole conversation started in the YouTube comments last week.
Well, I really did like, though, how Stone said that he left them because he didn't think that he could really, like, you know, be a leader and take care of them, and that he would fail, and, like, that's why he left them. And, like, that was his thing to say, so they knew that it was really him, which I thought was nice.
Yeah. I like that because we are dealing with, you know, them still trying to work together again. And I had said last week that, like, it's fine because Bear just tells them what to do. She's in charge. And this week she was like, I can't just tell you what to do. It's like the writers were anticipating what I would say.
Maybe they have a little Post-it in their office. What would Yael do?
Yael would say, movies are just books, but with better pictures and less of those words and stuff.
Speaking of Ezekiel, I did like the reveal that he used to steal for MI6.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like that's definitely going to come back around to us.
Agreed.
Yeah. I
think we're going to get some of their backstory. We're going to have another episode, which is going to be one of them, and then another episode, which is another.
That's just amazing that you, like, at the exact same time, someone on YouTube said basically the same thing you did. Her name is Nasaid5674. Ezekiel working for MI6 was something interesting. I hope we get into that. And he didn't even see that. All right. Tari didn't see that. You guys just literally said it at the same time. That is beautiful.
Boo69B says she reads books.
Oh, nice.
Boo, put the books down. Put the books down.
Watch TV. It's way more fun.
Put the book down. Books are for closers. Sorry, movie reference. Well, play reference, regardless. All right, let's talk about the mysteries of the library.
Yes.
Because Baird stays back to work with Jenkins, which I don't like it. I'm afraid that like she'll punch him
Why?
because she's Baird.
Fair enough.
I'm not afraid she'll punch him. It's just like an awkward, just by themselves. Like, oh, I don't know. I just don't. I'd rather someone else be there.
I like when they call and Baird's like, "Oh, how can I help you?" She goes, "Why? I need to talk to Jenkins. That's how you can help me. You need to talk to Jenkins." It's good. So we have rooms that have disappeared. So apparently the rooms have always rearranged, but never randomly. There's always been an order or a pattern to them. We have rooms that are missing. The locked room in the basement, which originally Jenkins thought was the large animals room, which houses Nessie, i.e. the Loch Ness creature. Not supposed to call them monsters. Apparently.
Why?
Yes.
So that's what Jenkins said. Monsters is it's a little harsh.
That's right.
Only monsters are humans.
Wow.
What are you saying?
That's great. And that was really good. So we found out last week from Lindy that the room that keeps appearing that is locked, that they cannot open, is going to be something. Lindy did reveal that last week, which was the most exciting moment ever, because I thought it was just such a... This is what the show does, is they say these throwaway lines, like, for example, I have an irrational fear of ravioli, and I don't like kids, and I feel like those are going to come back.
Right.
Because everything we heard for a reason. And this show is really good about making sure we hear it for a reason.
Right.
Like the MI6 thing. Like, I'm not an FBI agent. It was MI6. What an amazing show. I'm going to stop praising it now. The other thing I really appreciated in this episode was when the clippings book was shaking, they all were like, "Oh, did your individual books?" They said no. And they're like, "Well, then who is it for?" And it was for all of them.
Aww.
They all needed to work together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like they're never, it's like they keep on being told that same thing every week, and they all try to just do their own thing, and then it never ends up working out, and it's like, end of the episode, let's learn a lesson, all work together.
Yeah.
But do it again next week, please.
I mean, it is only the second week.
Right.
Yeah, but with that being said, they've all had such a hard time working together. That's why they separated. They're all worried about disappointing each other themselves.
Yeah.
And
But I think that's going to be a big thing that plays in, especially with Flynn being gone, is that they're going to have to learn, they're going to relearn to work together as a team and be this team, and then Flynn's going to come back and we're going to have to deal with him being like, I work alone, haha,
Yeah.
I'm Flynn.
Yeah, he's
That's
always
how he
the guy to
talks.
run his line against, run his finger against the line of ants. If that is, I don't know if that's a phrase that
Wow.
other people use, but
You want to explain what that means?
because when you run your finger across a line of ants, you ruin their scent trail, so it sends them going in all directions because they can't figure out the path that they were originally on.
Wow.
Maybe it's not a phrase that other people use.
I use it. It's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
Alexis.
welcome.
You freaks. That's really deep, though, actually. And that probably is kind of what he is to them, I think.
I'm just now imagining them running around carrying things really heavy over their heads. Sorry.
Where do we go from here?
What do I do?
Where are we?
Just imagining Flynn is like a huge finger, just being like,
That's kind of weird. Alexis in the booth says she wants more backstory on Jenkins, and I will say abso-freaking-lutely.
as does Jessica Iverson, who has made that very clear on the chat roll. Thank you.
Very clear.
Yes, very clear. We get it. Yeah, us too.
Especially because we get this. We got the who he was in the finale, and then in the season premiere, second part of it, we had Moriarty deduce who he was, and we got a little bit more of that, and I feel like there's so much more to him that we don't know, especially because he has been around for hundreds of years. Just because he started out as this one guy doesn't mean he can't have become other people through time.
Right.
Kind of like a Forrest Gumpy thing, where Forrest Gump happened to be, this guy and that guy and that guy in history.
Right. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I feel like Jenkins could be that. And now that we have all the fictionals, and Jenkins happens to be a character that may or may not be fiction. Anyone?
Yes. I think it would be amazing if we met like a fictional version of Jenkins and he got to like be like, is that what people think of me?
That would be really fun.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so much we need to knock down on that service because it's like a boring surface to watch. I mean, I personally am like, oh, a Jenkins scene. I'm kind of like annoyed with it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's John Larroquette.
Yeah, I'm well aware of who he is.
I was like, just so we're clear,
I'm
guys.
sorry to the actor. I love him,
But
but
it's John Larroquette.
I get it. But the character to me is a bit boring, and there are people that have agreed with me on the chat
In the
roll.
chat.
But with that being said, there's a lot behind the surface that
Yeah.
like I'm just waiting to explode, and that's kind of why I appreciate the character because I know that at some point it will all make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have something to add?
I mean, we've got to see him be a little more vulnerable this season, which is kind of like what we're getting with a lot of the characters. They're allowed to show the underside of themselves, which I like a lot more.
Yeah.
And every episode we get more and more hints to like his past. Like he's like, hey, you know, I've had to do this and I've had to do that, and this one.
Right.
So I think that we're bound to get more. I think it'll be a very pivotal plot point. Yeah. That's it. That's all I got.
Well, on that note, we should head into predictions.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
If you saw the trailer, which they sneakily forced you to watch their next show to watch, thanks TNT. It's available online. I found it. So we are at a college at a university, and a tentacle monster is coming through portals and taking things like the professor. I would like to also point out that those portals are very womanly shaped, if you know what I'm saying.
Hourglasses, yes.
Nope.
Yeah, really.
Yes. Look.
Sorry.
Yes?
Alexis said Cthulhu, and that was my thought too.
What is Cthulhu?
Cthulhu is he's a Lovecraftian like god universe eater kind of guy.
You guys are so smart.
I don't read.
Gosh.
We've established this.
Wow.
Okay. Any predictions on the tentacle monster coming through the portals? You heard me.
I think it'll be a good time for everyone.
I'm not the only one who sees the portals as the shape that they are.
Right.
Right, chat roll? No.
I agree with you, Yael.
Thank you. Those portals are quite shaped.
Feminine.
What? Lewd? Yeah, especially with a tentacle coming through it.
Oh, yeah.
It's reminding me of the green creature from Witches of Easton.
Boo 69B wants to know what you're saying, Yael. She's saying that bush has been beat around pretty good.
She didn't say that.
Yep, that's what it looks like.
Well, I'm hoping to see some, college students get killed.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
I hope that we get a full creature by the end of the episode.
The whole thing.
Yeah. And I do hope it's Cthulhu. Because why not?
Yeah.
And one last thing. I am still on Team Cassandra and Stone. So
oh, yeah, this episode had a lot of flirting.
And I'm just, I'm going to go next week and, look back at all the after shows being when I said it and everyone thought it was ridiculous, and then I continued to say it.
We had a lot of comments that were like, it's kind of a brother-sister relationship.
Yeah, this is gross. It's ridiculous.
It's incestuous. It's not Game of Thrones.
No.
Those were our comments.
Yeah. Some serious stuff there, I think. And I love it. And I love that they're making us, kind of inch every episode to, be more into it.
I'll say that the tentacle monster, I was, for those who don't know, I got to talk to the cast at New York Comic Con. Although if you don't know, you haven't been listening to me because I like to toot my own horn. I got to talk to the cast at New York Comic Con, and Rebecca Romaine told me about the tentacle monster. So check out that interview. Also, I got some scoop on the Stone and Cassandra situation.
Ooh.
So check out that interview. Yep. I'm gonna plug those. Also, guys, those portals are very vulgar, and I feel like blah 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 would love to play with them.
Oh my god.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's all I got. Thank you guys for joining us on that note. Sam, why don't you tell me where they can find you online?
Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. You can find me online at samdavidsonentertainment.com or on Twitter and Instagram at samd43.
Tauri.
I'm Tauri J. Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Tauri J. It's TAURIJAY. Thanks for watching.
But they get the wink this time. I see how it is.
Yeah.
Alexis in the booth. You can find her online at atorres890.
We're all Alexis Torres
Yes,
are
you are
sold.
correct.
We're all Alexis Torres are sold. Yeah, I can say it. Also, those interviews I'm talking about, that's right, they're available on Yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv. Also, I tweeted at them. Tweeted them out. At Yael Tygiel, that's YAELTYGIEL. We will see you here next week, Mondays, 10 p.m. for more Librarians. The portals look like vaginas.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.